My name is Darcy Rose, and my first fair, I was 6 days old, and Mouse Man actually welcomed my parents into the fair, and my mom was brave because she had identical twins. So basically, I've been in a big shift in my life and have been thinking a lot about the how I want to give and serve in the world and what my dharma is. And at the beginning of the fair season beforehand, had been just given a lot of thought to how I want to volunteer and serve. And initially, I had thought that I wanted to serve on the board. Yet after putting my hat in the ring and coming to a mini forum with my daughters who obviously needed my attention at this time, I've decided that after tonight's forum, I am going to step out of the running. And it is also partly because since throwing my hat in the ring, I was able to research all of the other candidates who are wanting to have a chance to lead the board. And even though I know that we need powerful change, I think that I can change from the outside rather than necessarily serving at the board level at this point. So I look forward to hearing what everyone else has to say and answering questions in turn, even though I hope that you vote for the people that I hope and I will be writing on my blog, Darcy's Utopia. So if you want to, I'm more articulate in writing than I am in person, and these lights are really bright. So thank you. So yes, so this is very obviously a good question, but so basically the way that I see it is that a governance board is one that sets policy to create the mission that we are all here to put forward, both with the Oregon Country Fair as an event itself and as a year-round expression of our community and family. And more of an operations board is one that is very much focused on the structures and operations and how to just implement the more of the event itself rather than the actual policies that create the organization. You know what? I actually wrote this out, and now I'm like not sounding as articulate, but I think. I mean, obviously, the fair grew as a very organic structure over time, and I think one thing is that from seeing the mess that's come about right now, I think that it is a reflection of just the ingrained patriarchy that is within our culture, and it wasn't intentional within the forefathers, my father, anyone who's out here in the audience. With all due respect, I know that this wasn't intentional, but I think that we've kind of muddled our way through with the governance that we have right now, and for much of the time, it has been in the weeds, and it's been, it hasn't served our longevity as an organization. I think that we need to have more of a balance between the two, and I would actually really love to see a board of directors that really is a governance structure and more of an operations board that serves as the listening post and the action post for things that are happening on the ground with volunteers. And between the two of those, I think that we stand a much better chance of being able to govern ourselves. So thank you. First of all, thank you all fellow candidates. The responses have been beautiful, and definitely the two things that came to mind both have to do with collaboration, and I believe that the only real two criteria should be being open-minded and open-hearted, and being able to carry a child on your hip while you talk. So if you can do that, no. And that would be the next thing, is to be able to act courageously with future generations in mind. So thank you. So I guess one, I don't think that I'm not versed yet in specifically what it would require to be confidential within the context of serving on the board of directors, but I have served for the city of Portland as a senior community information and community outreach and information representative, and in that case I definitely did have to, it was always a balance of keeping some things confidential and then also knowing that I had a responsibility to be transparent, and I definitely believe that as an organization that any viable nonprofit organization needs to be the first best source of information, and in that case, we're a unique organization in the fact that we have the patrons and guests who we serve as ticket holders, but for the most part, we're serving our family, and so it is a unique, very gossipy kind of environment that we have, and so I do think that people need to just keep it in mind and just be really aware of how they're interacting with people and making sure that that is with integrity. So thank you. Well, great responses so far, and let's see. So I definitely think that it should be a blend between, one, that communication can serve as really bringing us together and increasing our morale and just keeping that common spirit alive throughout the years. So I think it is really critical that we have communication. I think that we should have a blend between between virtual and in person. So I just recently moved back to Portland, and after having lived in Astoria on the edge of the coast for the last 3 years, and it was definitely really fantastic to meet up with the other candidates and to be able to just have a conversation in person instead of on Facebook. And so I would definitely encourage that we set up more of a forum both in Portland and in Eugene of happy hours and coffee hours, and just really look at how we can be able to engage with each other and meet more family and not just stay in the little circles that we've already created. So thank you. Okay, well, it's hard to give that thought when my daughter comes up and says, I'm tired and I need to put on my pajamas. So let's see. So, I think that our biggest threat is, one, just getting too mired in what hasn't worked to the vision of our four founders, and just losing hope for the future, because I really believe that there is so much hope for the future, and the Oregon Country Fair just it's the time of year that I know that we all love, and that it makes our hearts sparkle for the rest of the year. And I think that it's something that that we can build upon, and that what we've created so far, I think, is just a tiny bit of what we really could create for the next 50 years. So we need to not look so much at what the threats are, but what the hopes can be. So thank you. Okay, so much for sitting on the step. So one, thank you to all of our candidates. It is definitely an honor to just be up here on stage with all of you and to be part of this family, because it really is why I chose to put my hat in the ring. And so, and it is because I really do believe that, one, I feel blessed for the fact that I was raised with fair values in my heart, and that I work every day to embody those, and I really do deeply want to connect more with our whole fair family and find a way that I can give more of myself. Yet at this time, I will be officially stepping out, but I will say that I am, while I'm not the best public speaker, especially interrupted a gazillion times, I am a natural. I do love writing, and I do want to be engaged. And I am going to be putting out a public statement tonight on Darcy's Utopia about who I plan to vote for and why, and also why I admire everyone who's up here and who is running for to serve on the board of directors. So thank you all so much.